প্রিয় দর্শক, টাইম টেলিভিশনের সাপ্তাহিক নিয়মিত অনুষ্ঠান ল অ্যান্ড জাস্টিসে আপনাদের সবাইকে স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি। আপনারা জানেন এই অনুষ্ঠানটি সরাসরি সম্প্রচারিত হয়ে থাকে এবং আপনারা যে কোনো আইন বিষয়ক প্রশ্নের উত্তর এখানে পেতে পারেন। আমাদের এই অনুষ্ঠানটিতে নিয়মিত অংশগ্রহণ করে থাকেন অ্যাটর্নি অ্যাট ল সালেম এস রিজভী। Welcome, Mr. Salim S. Rizvi, to our studio.
Shukriya, and thank you very much.
Thank you. So how is everything? Is there any latest news about
Well, you know what?
law and immigration?
It's a very cold day.
Right,
And
very cold.
Very cold day, and I wanted to share a hot news, but unfortunately,
This-
we have a very cold news,
Right.
which is like putting cold water on the hopes of millions of people.
Definitely.
You know, off the record, we were talking about Justice Hannon Decision, who is the district judge in Texas, and that decision is a horrible decision, and the reason being is because it takes away the hopes of millions of people, and it is done on a technical basis.
Right. When people are ready to file their application tomorrow,
Yes.
and just before 2 days, it's happened.
Yeah, and in addition to that, you know, as we know, Department of Justice and Department of Homeland Security has made all the arrangement, as you said. They have spent millions of dollars, and people were ready. People were putting their application together. We are not talking about the application for the parent. We are talking about the application for DACA applicants, and they were ready to go ahead and file the application from tomorrow. And here comes this horrible decision, which would block everything at this point of time. But people should keep one thing in mind, that this is not going to affect, it's not going to affect the old DACA program. People who have already filed the application, or people who want to file the extension application under the old DACA, they can still do that. Okay, and the most troubling aspect of this decision is that it does not challenge the constitutionality of the executive action. Rather, Judge Hannon has come out with a very obscure law, and he challenges it on a technical basis. In essence, without making the subject too complicated, because I want our audience to understand that, he said President Obama, when he came out with his executive action, it has to be published in something which is called the Federal Register. All right. Since he did not do it and did not give people opportunity to comment on that, that's why that was a technical violation, and that's why I'm blocking this program. On the other hand, I don't want to talk politics, but when we compare it with the political culture of our own countries, this is something beautiful as well, because right after that, the Department of Justice reacted, right, and Secretary Johnson of Department of Homeland Security, he said, even though this is a very unfortunate situation, this is not a good decision, but we are going to abide by it. You know, so this is the powerful thing to say, that only one judge of the Federal District Court make the decision, and the administration service is going to listen to that and going to accept that. It's a horrible decision, as I said in the beginning, but the beauty of the system is, if a judge make the decision, everyone is going to pay attention to it, and going to be abide by that. I wish these were the situation in our native countries, but that's
that
not.
That would be very good.
So that beside the point. That's a that's a political discussion. Perhaps we will talk about it some other time. But as far as immigration is concerned, now lots of people are asking questions about this judgment, and the most important question is, okay, what's going to happen next?
Right. That's the big question.
That's a big question. People don't want to go into technical aspect of it, because some of them would not understand that. But the question they have in their mind is, what next? And how long is it going to take the court system to figure it out? Now, as you know, the appeal will be filed in the 5th Federal Court Circuit, and it will take few days before they prepare and file their appeal, and after that the court has to give enough time to both parties. So it's going to be weeks before we see any result.
Right. Hopefully, we'll get something positive.
Well, to be very honest, I mean, I you know, hope is everything. You
Right.
know, we don't want to give up hope. But I don't think federal court is going to be very sympathetic because, like this judge, Judge Hannon, who was appointed by
George Bush.
President Bush, you know, in New Orleans, the Fifth Circuit has many judges who are also appointed by
Right. That
by
precedent.
the Republicans.
Mhm.
So I don't think there's going to be a sympathetic view of this, but you never know.
Right.
Right.
প্রিয় দর্শক, আপনারা যেমনটি শুনছিলেন যে প্রেসিডেন্ট ওবামার নির্বাহী আদেশের বিরুদ্ধে টেক্সাসের একজন জাজ যিনি রুলিং দিয়েছেন, যার কারণে এই মুহূর্তে প্রেসিডেন্টের নির্বাহী আদেশের সুবিধা যারা নিতে পারতেন আগামীকালকে থেকে অ্যাপ্লিকেশন ফাইল করার কথা ছিল, সেটি আপাতত স্থগিত রয়েছে। তবে আমরা আশা করব নিশ্চয়ই এর মাঝখানেই এটি সুরাহা হবে। দর্শক, আপনারা আইন বিষয়ক, ল অ্যান্ড ইমিগ্রেশন বিষয়ক যে কোনো প্রশ্ন, যে কোনো আপনাদের জানবার থাকলে আপনারা সরাসরি প্রশ্ন করতে পারেন আমাদের স্টুডিওতে। স্টুডিওর ফোন নাম্বারটি স্ক্রলে যাচ্ছে, তবুও আমি আপনাদের আরও একবার বলছি। ফোন নাম্বারটি হচ্ছে 718-482-9935। একই সাথে অ্যাটর্নি অ্যাট ল সেলিম এস রিজভী, ওনার অফিসের ফোন নাম্বারটিও আপনাদের জানিয়ে দিই। যে কোনো প্রশ্নের জন্য, আপনারা যে কোনো আইনি সহায়তার জন্য সরাসরি প্রশ্ন করুন অ্যাটর্নি অ্যাট ল সালিম এস রিজভীর অফিসে। ফোন নাম্বারটি হচ্ছে 212-732-4336। চলুন দর্শক, আমরা ফিরে যাই আমাদের আলোচনায় আবারও। So, what is your suggestion for those people who are trying to, file their application tomorrow? What they have to do now?
Right.
What
Well, at
will
this
be the
point of time, one thing is very clear: they would not be able to file the application. But don't give up your hope.
Right.
All right, because President Obama made a statement, Department of Homeland Security Secretary made a statement, Department of Justice is saying they're going to fight it, and they are very sure that they are going to win this case. And in my opinion, it's not the executive action does not violate the Constitution. I think the President's position is very strong. But this
He
is
opposed that. He said, I'm
but
opposed that, right.
on technical issues, yes, this is a blockage right now. The Judge Hannon has blocked President Obama's executive action, so nobody would be able to file the application. But as I said in the beginning, as far as the old DACA program is concerned, it's still good. It's still in place. So if somebody qualifies under 2012 law, that person can file the application. There are a lot of people who wants to file for extension, so there is no problem with that. All right. Also, this decision, this ruling, does not affect the future program. It doesn't say that this is unconstitutional. It doesn't say that President doesn't have the power to stop deportation. I mean, there are many different ways President can still use his power because this is in the realm of the executive. The executive can craft their policies under the existing laws. So at the moment, they don't want to deport people until somebody has committed a crime. So criminals are their top priority. But as far as unity of family is concerned, they are still very sympathetic to them. Yes, they are stopping people at the border and they are pushing them back. So if somebody lands at the border or at the airport, obviously Immigration Service has a lot of power because that person is not admitted in the United States.
Because
Once that
right.
person is admitted and he is on the soil of the United States, then he has a lot of constitutional protection, due process of law. And that person cannot be deported
without due process.
Without due process. And what does that mean? In simple words, he will have the opportunity to go before a judge and plead his case.
Okay. I have a question which is a little different. You know that people from Bangladesh, Pakistan, or that region, they are very, family-oriented people. When they come in this country, they want to bring their brother, sister, father, everybody.
Yeah.
So is there any possibility in future, like within short term, like 2-3 years, that to bringing relative especially parents and sister,
Right.
will be stopped, or what do you
No,
think?
that's not going to. I don't think that's
There
going
is
to happen.
there is
Yeah.
some rumor.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
are thinking that.
No, it's a
Right.
good question, and I think you always try your best to
Right.
provide provide straightforward.
I think a lot of our viewer
Yeah.
also have that
Yeah.
anxiousness.
Well,
Yes,
the
with
reason
with
is,
that.
the fear,
Mhm.
the reason for fear is because there's so much negative propaganda against immigrants.
Immigration.
Now, immigrants is the backbone of our society.
Mhm.
Not today, but going back in history, we know these are the immigrants who build up this country. So I don't think it would be possible for any political party to
Mhm.
go to that extreme, to cut off a family reunion and to block visas, immigrant visas to immediate family member. But yes, there has been some efforts. For instance, in the comprehensive immigration law, there was a provision because the Democrat made the promise and they said, as far as siblings are concerned, brother and sisters, they can, we can eliminate that category. But if they want to do that, there will be plenty of time for people to file the application because they will be given the opportunity. Right? Let's say if they want to eliminate one particular category,
Mhm.
brother and sister, for
Right.
example, all right? They cannot say from tomorrow this category is going to be vanished. It is gone. You won't be able to file the application. This is very un-American. All right. American values and also the legal values dictates that people should be given enough opportunity. So, if that were to happen,
Mhm.
People will be given few months to file the application, and then perhaps they would say this category does not. But as far as a whole total ban on immediate relative petitions are concerned, I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay. Let us take a little break, then
Sure.
we'll come back again. প্রিয়
Absolutely.
দর্শক, আপনারা সাথেই থাকুন আমাদের। আমরা বিরতির পর আবারও ফিরে আসছি অনুষ্ঠানে।
For the best threading, waxing, facial, color, haircuts, henna, special bridal and party makeup, and more, come to Tenzin Salon, corner of Broadway and 72nd Street in Jackson Heights.
Hi, I'm Dr. Yvonne Khan. Welcome to Khan's.
Khan's Tutorial is New York's #1 tutorial for Common Core, citywide ELA and math, summer program, SAT, Regents, and the exam for Stuyvesant, Bronx Science, and Brooklyn Tech. Visit any of our 10 locations at Jackson Heights, Astoria, Castle Hill, Parkchester, Brooklyn, Jamaica, Sutphin, Ozone Park, Richmond Hill, and Floral Park.
For higher test scores, send your child to Khan's Tutorial, where we educate for life.
Call today.
প্রিয় দর্শক, আবারও ফিরে এলাম টাইম টেলিভিশনের সাপ্তাহিক নিয়মিত সরাসরি অনুষ্ঠান ল অ্যান্ড জাস্টিস উইথ সালিম এন্ড রেসপি অনুষ্ঠানে। দর্শক, আপনারা জানেন এই মুহূর্তে অ্যাকচুয়ালি গত কয়েক সপ্তাহ ধরেই আমরা বলবো যে এখানকার নিউ ইয়র্ক এবং আশেপাশের এরিয়ার ওয়েদার অত্যন্ত খারাপ, ঠান্ডা আবহাওয়া যাচ্ছে এবং সেই সাথে যেই জিনিসটি আমাদের এই অনুষ্ঠানের সাথে সম্পৃক্ত, আমি সেটি উল্লেখ করছি। আপনারা বুঝতে পারছেন সেটি কি। সেটি হচ্ছে যে অনেকেই হয়তো এই ঠান্ডা আবহাওয়ায় বরফে পা পিছলে পড়ে যাচ্ছেন বিভিন্ন জায়গায়। সেটা হতে পারে সাবওয়েতে, হতে পারে কোনো দোকানের স্টোরের সামনে অথবা কারো বাড়ির সামনে। সেই ক্ষেত্রে কিন্তু আপনি জানেন যে চিকিৎসা ব্যয় কিন্তু অনেক ব্যয়বহুল এবং সেই ক্ষেত্রে আপনারা কিন্তু মামলা করতে পারেন, সু করতে পারেন সেই নির্দিষ্ট দোকানটিকে অথবা কোনো সাবওয়ে স্টেশন হতে পারে সেই জায়গায়। তো সেই বিষয়টি নিয়ে আমরা আলোকপাত করব। আমরা ফিরে যাচ্ছি অ্যাটর্নি অ্যাট ল সালেম এস রিজভির কাছে। Mr. Salim S. Rizvi, I already told that this is really a bad weather condition for a long time.
Yeah.
We are facing this weather like 2 decades.
Right.
it never happened like before.
Well, the whole
it's a long time.
East Coast is badly
Right.
affected.
Right,
at
and
the
people
moment,
are
yeah.
falling and
Yeah.
slip. So
There are many accidents, many
right,
incidents,
many
different
accident.
kind of things.
right.
Yes.
So what can do our viewers,
Yeah.
like if somebody has that
Mm.
incident? Hopefully it's not.
Yeah.
But where's the legal?
It's very
step?
important to protect your legal rights.
Right.
All right, and if the accident take place because of the negligence of the other
Right.
person, you want to make sure that you are completely protected and you are seeking the relief that you deserve, because you see, medical care is very, very expensive,
Very expensive.
and some people live check to check. I mean, not many people are millionaire in this country.
Right.
Hardworking people who goes to work every day
Mhm.
and who take care of their bills by the end of the week. So if they are in a position where they cannot go to work
Mhm.
any longer, even if it is a short period of time, or they have to visit doctor, or they have to go to the hospital, huge expenses.
Yeah.
So who's going to take care of them in a situation like this? So that's why it becomes very important to have a good attorney
Mhm.
who can file the complaint with the right agencies on their behalf and litigate cases, because I have seen situation where attorneys were not very experienced in personal injury cases, because this is a very complicated, very complex area, and we have expertise available because I am associated with lawyers who have been practicing personal injury law for many, many years, for many decades for that matter, who have lots of experience in medical malpractice and slip and fall, as you mentioned, auto accident. So you need to have a powerful team of lawyers who can represent them. And since I understand the culture of our people, representing
Yeah,
the South
right.
Asian community for a very long period of time, I can be connected with them very, very quickly, and I understand their issues and I understand their problems. So the first thing is, if God forbid, if somebody is involved in a, let's say, auto accident,
Right.
okay, in a situation like this, nowadays everyone has a phone,
Mhm.
right? And these are very modern phone, which has camera
Very
and all
handy.
that. So
Right.
the first thing is, if the person is still conscious,
Mhm.
take the pictures of the site,
Right.
because we want to make sure that we want to
Some
document
evidence we have.
exactly where that accident take place. What was the situation? All right.
Mhm.
If somebody was walking and slipped and fell, we want to locate the exact location.
Right.
All right. So taking pictures is always a good idea. But if somebody is badly injured, obviously nobody can.
Right.
That person
If
cannot
possible.
take his pictures. In that case, the most important thing is to have medical assistance available right away. But taking pictures, taking some notes, taking the name of the witnesses if there are witnesses there. If they were accompanied by some people who were with them, then remaining in touch with them and collecting information and the statement, these are very important. Police report is very important. If the police arrives at the airport, the person should be in a position to articulate his position and to describe everything truthfully. Very, very, very important. If police report is not written correctly, then obviously it has adverse effect. We can still challenge the police report. There are many situations where the police officer was biased, right, and very prejudicial, and the report was not prepared properly. There were technical issues with this, or the police officer did not want to reveal certain information. We can still challenge the police report and get the information, but it becomes more complicated. And there's something called statute of limitation, which is very important, meaning that the lawsuit must be initiated within a certain period of time. Generally, it's about 3 years. Slip and fall and auto accident.
3 years?
3 years, yeah.
Okay.
But it varies from state to state. And also, the difference is whether you're suing a private party or the city or the government. All right. Statute of limitation, one thing, but in certain cities and in certain towns, you have to provide the notice to the city within a very narrow period of time.
Okay.
And generally, yes, when we talk about personal injury cases, yes, statute of limitation is 3 years. You can bring a lawsuit within 3 years. But when a municipal corporation or a city or town or state is involved, then the laws are very, very different.
Okay.
All right. So you have to, at least you have to notify them within a very narrow period of time. So it's very important.
Okay.
Another
For
thing-
example, many people fall on subway nowadays.
Yeah, yeah.
know, very
So the
bad
city has to
stairway.
be notified, and there's a very narrow time frame
Within short time.
within which one has to do that. So that must not be missed. If somebody say, "Well, I did not know," so ignorance of law is no excuse. You know, the court would say, "Well, this is the statute of limitation. You should have contacted lawyer, and if lawyer missed the deadline, then the lawyer can be sued."
Right.
Yeah.
ওকে
So-
প্রিয় দর্শক, আপনারা যেমনটি শুনছিলেন সেলিম এস রিজভির কাছে যে আপনি যদি কোনো জায়গায় পড়ে যান এই ঠান্ডার মুহূর্তে বরফের উপরে, যদি কোনো ব্যক্তিগত প্রপার্টি হয়, যদি কোনো সাবওয়ে হয়, সেটা হচ্ছে সিটি কর্তৃপক্ষের, আপনার উচিত তাৎক্ষণিকভাবেই কিন্তু রিপোর্ট করা যত দ্রুত সম্ভব। এবং উনি যেটা বলছিলেন যে আপনার হাতে যদি কোনো সেই মুহূর্তে কোনো মোবাইল থাকে, পিকচার তোলার কোনো সুযোগ থাকে, সেটাও করুন যদি সম্ভব হয়, কারণ ডকুমেন্টগুলো আপনাদের সাপোর্ট করবে ভবিষ্যতে যখন আপনি কোর্টে যাবেন। আপনারা ফোন করতে পারেন সেলিম এস রিজভির অফিসে সরাসরি 2127324336 এই নাম্বারে। চলুন দর্শক, আবারও ফিরে যাই আমাদের আলোচনায়।
Another thing which I want to add is people should not shy away from going to the hospital, because some people would think, well, if I go to the hospital, and especially those people who don't have legal documentation,
Right.
you know, people are very wary of it, and I have seen people staying home anguishing, and the situation becomes more complicated for them. So they should go to the emergency. Emergency cannot say, well, you know, unless you pay,
Right.
you know, we would not treat you. No, the system is very different in this country.
When you go through the emergency, they have to take you.
They must take you, and they have to provide you the medical
Proper
care. And in certain areas, if you don't speak the language, you know,
They
should
have translator.
the hospital, they have interpreter. They must provide that information. And also, as far as food restriction is concerned, this is another thing. You know, if somebody is Muslim, want to get halal food, somebody Jewish want to have kosher food, or somebody is Hindu, doesn't want to eat meat, vegetarian food, so they can request that food, and the hospital in certain situation has to comply with that. But the most important thing is, if somebody is injured and the injury is serious, must go to the hospital and not stay at home thinking that if the person goes to the hospital, perhaps they will be charging them $1,000 or $1,000.
Right.
Don't worry about $1,000 or $1,000, because in the beginning they cannot refuse to admit you in the hospital and to provide you medical care if you don't have money.
ওকে, সো প্রিয় দর্শক, আপনারা যেমনটি শুনছিলেন যে আপনি যদি যে কোনো মুহূর্তেই আপনি যদি আঘাতপ্রাপ্ত হন, ইভেন আপনাদের যদি কোনো লিগ্যাল ডকুমেন্ট না থাকে এই দেশে, কিন্তু আপনি ইমার্জেন্সিতে যেতে পারেন, যেখানে অবশ্যই আপনার চিকিৎসা সেবা দেওয়া হবে। So Mr. Salim S. Rizvi, I have another question
Sure.
in my mind, which is, you know, that people nowadays saying that the police giving them
Yeah.
ticket,
Yeah.
and because the police officer have to submit certain ticket within the time period,
Right.
and if they cannot fulfill that, you know, they give the ticket whatever people is there.
Yeah. Right.
So in that case,
Yeah.
what can we
Well,
do?
there are different ways
Right.
of taking care of that. You know, if anyone has any complaint against the police officer, you know, get the name of the police officer. They have the badges,
Right.
and their number is there. In all big cities, there is a civilian complaint board.
Okay.
All right. New York City has a huge civilian complaint board, and that is an independent agency. If somebody has any complaint against a police officer, that board can be contacted. Okay, that organization. Unfortunately, I don't have the phone number right now, but remind
Later
me
on,
in the next show. we will provide more
We'll
information
provide
with
that.
telephone number and all
That
that.
is very
So
important.
yeah, so the civilian review board can be contacted.
Mhm.
There are a lot of people who are serving on that, and once they take the complaint, then they start the proceeding against the police officer. They will, they will take the complaint, serve it on the police officer, give him the opportunity to give his part of the story. That is a very effective way of doing it. And the other route, which is a lawsuit. I don't know whether I shared this story with you. Many months ago, a black teenage guy was badly beaten by police officers. Okay, and initially, when the case was launched, the city offered very little money. Okay, the police officer was sued. It was a civil, it was not before a civilian review board. It was in court. So the city said, well, we want to settle this issue, and they offered $50,000. When case was ready for litigation, they raised the offer to, I think, approximately $300,000. But one of my colleague who was working on this case,
Okay.
Michael Ronimus, very famous litigation attorney, he turned down the offer, and the case was litigated, and the jury awarded many millions of dollars.
Oh,
Okay, so if somebody has any serious complaints against the police officer, it has to be taken very seriously. The civilian review board can be contacted. We will provide more information on that. And if there is a kind of situation where a lawsuit is a proper way of doing it, then perhaps that route should be further explored.
right. Yeah, people are very afraid with that. They are thinking they're gonna complain against the officer or not. So there is a way, and there is a special department.
There are many different
Right.
ways of doing it, and it depends on the complaint. Let's say if somebody was stopped in the street and a police officer was very abusive, he was using racial slur or bad language, that is one kind of case. Yes, it's a good case for the civilian review board. And if somebody was badly beaten, was injured, and because of that injury suffered some losses, in that case, a lawsuit is the right way to pursue. So there are different kind of ways to handle this kind of situation. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Salimus Resby, to
Sure.
provide us very, very important
My
information.
pleasure. Thank you.
So you wanna wrap up? You wanna say something
Well,
to our viewers?
next week we are going to talk about immigration issue,
Right.
because immigration issues is the heart of our program. And I just want to share with our viewers that they should write us.
Right.
They should write us emails
Right.
if they have any questions. They can contact me directly at my
To your
office, and the number is at the screen.
Mhm.
And they should participate in this show. This show is their show.
Right.
When they call us and ask their questions, whether that is about bankruptcy law or immigration law or medical malpractice or matrimonial law, I'll be very happy to answer those questions to the best of my ability. And hopefully we'll bring other colleague of mine who have
Sure.
expertise in
That would
other
be good.
areas as well. Sure. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Absolutely.
Salimus Resby. প্রিয় দর্শক, আপনারা যেমনটি শুনছিলেন, যে কোনো আইন বিষয়ক প্রশ্নের জবাব পেতে আপনারা যে কোনো ধরনের ভ্রুক্ষেপ না করে আপনারা সরাসরি ফোন করতে পারেন আমাদের স্টুডিওতে অনুষ্ঠান চলাকালীন সময়। একই সাথে সালেমেস রিজভির অফিসে ফোন নাম্বারটি আমি আবারও বলছি 2127324336 এই নাম্বারটিতে, এবং আপনারা স্টুডিওতে ফোন করুন। এটি আপনাদেরই অনুষ্ঠান। আইন আমাদের নাগরিক জীবনের প্রতিটি ক্ষেত্রে জড়িয়ে আছে, সুতরাং এটি থেকে আমরা কেউ আলাদা নই। আপনার যে কোনো প্রশ্নের জন্য আপনারা ফোন করুন। টাইম টেলিভিশনের সাথে থাকুন, সুস্থ থাকুন, ভালো থাকুন। আল্লাহ হাফেজ।